wondering what the heck is going on in this video. Well, I'm over here at the Circuit of the Americas. See behind, there's the observation tower. If I can get my finger on it. I don't know how to work cameras right there. So look at this. Photo at Circuit of the Americas, can you believe that? I'm shooting photos here for the Austin Speed Tour weekend. I just took pictures for Formula Regional, and Formula 4 is coming up soon. Took a couple pictures of the prototype cars racing around, and it looks like there's going to be some more vintage race cars coming on. And there was also some Trans Am cars as well. Super fun stuff. Can't wait to show you guys the results. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Okay, what exactly is going on in this video? Why am I seeing cars and not planes? Aren't you aviation Aiden? Didn't you say this in one of your last videos? The channel has strayed away from that with my random model aircraft content and serious flight sim videos, and that changes now. So you might have noticed in that video as well, this little steering wheel right here. It's for a little bit of sim racing, so as opposed to being a flight simulator, it's now a driving simulator. So I really took up a passion for race cars. I've always loved the speed and the sound of the old NASCAR cars when I was watching back in 2010, and I never really got past that, but I attended my first NASCAR race in person in 2021 at COTA and just fell in love with cars all over again. So I've decided to kind of move into that motorsports field, taking pictures. I first started at that race, that COTA race in 2021. It was rainy and wet, but it was so much fun. Did the same thing next year, 2022, and this year as well, 2023. Also shot at a super lap battle at COTA. So in total, before this trip, it was a total of 4 times. Super fun stuff, and this trip, finally managed to grab that media pass so I can get unlimited track access. Super fun stuff. Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of explain what this video is gonna be for. I'm gonna be teaching you how to become a motorsports photographer. I know it was kind of a long intro to segue into this part, but I figured I might as well share what I have learned through my 6 years of photography experience and what you can do to kind of accelerate yourself in order to get a bunch of those networking things going on like I did. So firstly, some of my gear that I'll go over and some things I recommend. I run 2 cameras at all times. That is not a requirement, actually 3, because I have the GoPro. 1 camera's fine. I just have the 3. I have my photo camera, I got my video camera, and then I have my GoPro camera for all those POV shots on top of the camera. So first I'll just go ahead and go into my first camera that I ever shot. My first DSLR was a Nikon D3400, just like this one here. This one I used to just do mainly photos on until I upgraded, so now it is my slow-mo video camera. I've got a sling that goes around your shoulder here so you can bring it up nice and easy. It's super easy to switch. And what I rock with that is the Nikon 70 to 300 millimeter. It's got some nice zoom. It also can zoom out a lot pretty well, so it works pretty well in the field. Next, for my POV camera shots that I get on top of my main camera here, I got a GoPro Hero 9 Black Edition with a really nice mount that just sits right on top, right above the flash for the camera. It looks pretty good. The footage still comes out a little grainy. It's just something I've got to keep tweaking, but other than that, it does its job pretty well. Alright, now into my photo stuff. I'm rocking a Canon 90D body here. Pretty nice cross sensor camera. Does the job well, it has high speed shots, can do a lot of customize. I got a preset where I'm able to switch my shutter speed from panning to stills, better stills, just so I can kind of do that on the fly. It really helps. I also rock the regular kit lens, 18 to 135. Canon lens. It works well. I use this a lot in the garage, in the paddock, getting some driver portraits, as well as suiting up, getting in their cars and all that, as well as some of the more close-up shots whenever they're lining up on the hot grid. Works well, does its job well. I do like its kind of wide angle that it's got, and it's also got the image stabilization, which is cool. Unfortunately, my Nikon does not, so I do have to process all my videos through an image stabilization program. So my Canon stuff does have that image stabilization, which definitely helps, but it is not required. You can have steady hands or use a tripod or monopod. Alright, now to my workhorse lens that I use for just about everything. My plane spotting, my airshow photography, and now my motorsports photography. This is the beautiful Sigma 150 to 600mm contemporary lens. Really awesome zoom capabilities here. Can get really up close and personal when you're shooting trackside. Awesome customization capabilities on this side. Manual autofocus. You can set your focus range, which is really helpful, so you're not focus hunting like crazy when you're trying to get those panning shots. OS modes, which is just like the stabilization. OS 2 for Sigma is that stabilization. It'll stabilize up and down, but your left and right will be perfectly fine. And then I've got my custom settings as well. That just kind of helps with getting some better focus. That's really just personal preference though. It works fine without it. Not pictured here, I also run a SD card reader with a phone adapter, so I can plug it into my phone. So I can just get those shots processed on the fly without having to use my laptop or computer, wait all the way until I come home to get on my computer for that. I also run a monopod occasionally. Never really doing the tripod stuff, it's just too clunky. Alright, now I want to talk about another aspect of motorsports photography that I don't think many other people on YouTube really talk about to other people. I was watching a couple videos, they're all great, they all talk about pretty much the same things, what you need to do, kind of the camera settings and stuff, so I'm going to assume you already know that. At least for me, I wish I had known this 6 years ago when I first started, is networking. Networking is so important in this field because there are so many photographers all wanting to get their name out there, and it's a competition, right? You guys are all competing to get those shots out there to that client, to that social platform, you know? So networking really helps. I say if you're starting out for motorsports photography, go to a small event. It doesn't necessarily have to be F1 or, you know, a NASCAR Cup race. It can be a smaller event. Where I started was the SBRA Austin Speed Tour. And that, with a ticket, is open. The paddock and the garages are open to the public. You don't need a media pass to get in there. I had a media pass so I could go around the track, but the paddock and the pits were all open and you could go in and talk to the teams, which is exactly what I did. Managed to talk to a driver development team for Formula 4 and Formula Regionals or Formula 3, and got a couple clients that way, which was awesome, and that was something I'd never done before. I will say, if you really want to impress possible clients, if it is your first time going to shoot a race, do not offer your photos for sale. And I say this because if it is your first time, you don't want to start charging people for something you've never done, if that makes any sense. I would start charging for prices for the photos once you've gotten some experience. So I've shot many times at many races from the stands as a fan, and I've really worked up my skills along with my other aviation photography, which is still those fast-moving objects. You know, getting those pans correct and kind of knowing what settings you should be using for which kind of shot, knowing what kind of shot you would like to see. You know, Coda, I'm very familiar with. That track is my bread and butter, so I was very familiar and I knew which kind of shots I wanted, and that's what I was able to appeal to my client that way, saying, hey, I can get a shot like this, I can get a shot like this, etc. But definitely, if it is your first time, don't charge for photos, send them out for free, let them know your name, so for future reference, they can call you up and that time they can pay you. Or those lines. If you've already done motorsports for a long time, or you're just like me, you're just kind of starting out, but you were already familiar with what you wanted to do, appeal that way. You know, I've shot motorsport before, just never for a specific team, and you know, talk your way through. Especially these smaller teams, they don't have dedicated photographers usually. They usually will just take the pictures by themselves on their phones, you know, from the pits. So giving them a dedicated photographer, at least for events in your area, you don't have to travel with the team, you know, just for events in your area, and have those clients that use your photos in their socials and whatnot, is a really good tool to have. Speaking of socials, definitely invest some time into creating either an Instagram, a Flickr, or a Facebook account to share your photos to. I would even consider also creating a My Portfolio website. Those come free with a Adobe Lightroom subscription. Having a portfolio to just throw your pictures on, so you can just show your client real fast your website, and you can send them a link to it so they can go through and see what you've done in the past and whether or not they would take you on, you know, as a potential photographer for the event. Definitely helps. But yeah, that's probably my biggest advice to you, is to network the crap out at these events, because it's going to pay off so much, and it already has for me. And that was my first time having a media pass at a race event, which was insane. And it's definitely skyrocketed my career, and I just wanted to give some advice to you guys.